I want to get a Monstera Aloe, so let's go see how much they cost. Google.com, Monstera Aloe for sale. Hey guys, what's going on? Welcome back to the channel. In today's video, I want to share with you guys my top 5 recommended houseplants that are not only cool looking, easy to care for, but you can also get them for under $10. If you're watching this video, chances are you're just starting up your houseplant journey. You're maybe on a fixed income or limited budget, but at the same time, you want to add some pretty cool looking plants to your collection without necessarily breaking the bank. You know, oftentimes we get so caught up chasing the rare plants or the trendiest plants on Instagram, especially when your favorite plant influencer kind of posts that picture. I'm guilty. Yes, I have posted a few of those plants. But seriously, guys, you don't necessarily have to chase these plants. I always encourage you guys to buy responsibly, not only from a financial perspective, but also from a care perspective. Because a lot of these rare and exotic plants that you typically see, on Instagram, they aren't the most easiest to care for, to be quite honest. I'm struggling with a few of them. And, fortunately, I am in the position, thanks to you guys, to be able to, purchase some of these plants. But even my first couple years, I wasn't touching any of these plants, not only because A, they were very difficult to find, but also they were really expensive and I just didn't have experience with them. And if you're gonna end up buying something like a Monstera Aloe or a Belgian Crescent that's gonna cost a lot of money, you want to make sure it survives, because yes, they may look beautiful and your breath may be taken away by them at the moment you see them, like this guy, but 2 weeks later you can be this guy crying about it because it's almost dying. So you don't have to chase these rare looking plants because there are still a lot of plants that you can get for relatively cheap pricing. And not only that, but these plants can look really cool and really majestic with just a bit of patience and a bit of love. So here are my top 5 cool looking plants to get for under $10. We'll start with number 5, the aloe vera. So I always encourage you guys to have an aloe vera regardless what level of experience you have, because not only are they easy to care for and I think pretty cool looking, is they are great for burns, so especially if you get like an oil burn or sunburn. Now all the plants I'm going to show you in terms of under $10 is they are typically in a 4-inch container, so be mindful of that. But that's also a great thing about getting these plants is not only are they under $10, but you can also enjoy the journey of raising them to look so majestic and beautiful. Like this guy, this can look extremely majestic. Even right now in this little 4-inch container, it looks just pretty cool, like a tentacle or octopus. You can probably get like a little nice decorated pot, like this is a little bit more circular to give you that look. And here's how he looks about 2.5 years later. Ta-da! So this is now my aloe. 2.5 years ago, he was just that tiny little 4-inch container. I don't even think he was in a 4-inch container. Maybe it was like a 2-inch container, but look how massive he's grown. And honestly, this looks so freaking cool. I love how his long leaves are, almost look like tentacles of a octopus. So it has I put him in this circular decorative pot. Gives kind of that upside down kind of sea urchin or octopus vibe, but really, really cool, really majestic looking. And like I said, aloe veras they're just great houseplants because they give you so much more benefits than just caring for them. But definitely a recommended houseplant to get. The next one I want to show you guys is the Oxalis Triangularis, also known as the shamrocks. Now this is a beauty. Not only do they look like butterflies, but these guys also have that type of movement. Their leaves kind of fall down during the night and they kind of open up during the day. So very, very cool looking plants. And I got these guys, I think for like $4.99 in a 4-inch container. They typically come around during the spring, especially right before St. Patrick's Day. But this is the purple one, the variegated kind, which is one of my favorite. I also have a green one as well, but I've had this purple one for over probably 2.5 years. And the one thing that's cool about, the Oxalis Triangularis and all the plants I'm going to show you guys is they're really easy to care for. I have these guys very close to my south-facing window, so it gets a ton of bright and direct light. But, one thing about these guys is you can always cut them back and start over because they do grow from bulbs and whatnot. So that's one thing that's cool about this, especially if for example, I forget to water it and next thing you know, it's almost like pretty dead. It's actually not dead. So I just cut it back, try to give it the watering requirements it needs, the lighting requirement it needs, and next thing you know, it's growing new sprouts and new leaves. But it is a beauty, and I always recommend to get this plant because you guys can get these guys for under, you know, literally I got this guy for like $4.99. But yeah, pretty cool looking plant. So the next one I want to show you guys is the ta-da! The spider plant. And you guys know I love spider plants. They are so easy to care for. And I actually got this size. This was actually a 6-inch container. I got this from IKEA for like $8.99, but you can definitely find a smaller one. And you guys can make a spider plant look so cool, so majestic. I have this guy in this pineapple decorative pot, so it kind of gives that pineapple vibe, which I thought looked pretty cool. But one thing about this, if you guys recall, for those of you guys who's been following me for a while, is I actually had a massive spider plant that shot up a lot of babies. And it just looks so cool and majestic. I'm going to insert kind of a footage here of what that can look like. So again, you can take these small, you know, very basic plants to a lot of people and make them look majestic and cool looking like the spider plant that you guys see here. So you don't necessarily have to go for those rare and exotic looking plants. It's going to cost so much money. Really, this spider plant, beautiful, $8 for this size here. I got it at IKEA. And the decorative pot, I think I got for like maybe like 20 bucks at CB2. But yeah, very, very cool looking, easy to care for. One thing about spider plants is they are notorious for getting a lot of these brown tips, and a lot of you guys keep asking me, you know, how do you kind of prevent that? Those are usually signs that you're overwatering, but honestly, your spider plant's gonna get them. And as long as they're, you know, just at the tips and they're not like spreading down and whatnot, I think it's okay as long as your spider plant looks healthy and is thriving still. And you'll know when they're thriving when they start shooting out like baby spider plants. And again, they can look so cool. So definitely a recommended houseplant to get. And I can't wait for this guy to start shooting up babies again and try to get it to look like my previous spider plant. But the next one I want to show you guys is the, ta-da, the Pothos. So first of all, Pothos, easy to care for, honestly a beginner's dream plant in my opinion. And I think everyone should have them, but they come in so many varieties. And this one right here is my golden Pothos. You guys know I have the neon one that's trailing beautifully right now. It looks like waterfall. And I love it, but I had all my Pothos. When I first got all of them, they were in a 4-inch little container, barely trailing. And now, obviously, I've had them for a couple of years, and they're thriving. This one is actually one of my favorite, next to probably the neon Pothos. And the reason why is because I have this guy climbing up, which is one of my first Pothos that I have climbing up. And honestly, I love the fact that it's climbing up, and I'm excited to kind of get this taller. It just looks pretty cool and majestic, especially now with all of these variegation on its leaves. It just looks so beautiful and so stunning. And honestly, like, I can't wait to, I'm gonna have this on the floor, but I can't wait to start adding a few more poles and getting this guy to climb up. I'm gonna try and get this guy, you know, all the way up to the ceiling and then place him in the corner and just make it look like a big, huge, awesome golden Pothos that's like a statement piece, because honestly, it looks so majestic. And you know, Pothos, you know, a lot of people think they're basic and boring, but honestly, I don't care. I think they're beautiful and they're so easy to care for. My number one plant that I recommend that you guys can still get that looks so cool and majestic is the, ta-da, the Pilea Peperomioides. So you guys know this is a pretty cool looking plant. Not only are they easy to care for, but you can still probably get these guys, you know, for under $10. Now, it does depend where you guys are located, because I also hear from a lot of my Australian or New Zealand friends that this is like very hard to find in your country, almost impossible. But a few years ago here in Canada and North America, these guys used to be extremely expensive. And I think I got mine for this size about almost 3 years ago for like $60. Now, obviously, the pricing has come down because these guys are pretty much everywhere. So there is a lot of supply when it comes to the Pilea. But the one thing that's cool about this guy is, again, it may start off small like this. You may be able to find this for maybe $6, $8, depending where you are. Within a few years, you're gonna have something really cool and really majestic looking, like, ta-da, like this guy right here. So obviously, I've had this for almost 3 years now, and he's a beast. He's massive. So easy to care for. Honestly, a lot of bright indirect light, water when using filtered water when the soil is dry. And soil I use for this is half cacti soil, half regular potting mix, and a bit of perlite. And I don't fertilize this guy, so really that's all I do. And he just looks, he looks massive, he looks amazing, and it is definitely one of my favorite plants. But you know, a plant like this, again, this is Instagram worthy. You guys don't have to get those rare plants, and that's gonna cost so much money. You know, with a bit of time, a bit of effort with a lot of these smaller plants that may look basic to start off, over time they can grow to look majestic like the ones you guys see here. So I always encourage you guys to buy responsibly. don't chase the rare plants, and only get them when you're ready. But yeah, so I got one more plant to show you guys that I think is really cool looking and definitely a must-have. And these guys are really cheap to find as well too. So it is the, ta-da, the Wandering Jewel. This is a really cool looking plant. It's a Zebrina kind. I love the variegation on this. This has freaking sparkles on it. Like, who does not want a plant that has sparkles? I mean, you don't have to get those Anthurium, Crystallinum, or Clarinivarium for a bit of sparkle. This guy is so cool looking and really easy to care for, and they trail beautifully. Like, literally, these look like jewels, and you guys can see right now. So, you know, I keep forgetting that this plant, because it's hiding a bit in the corner, that it is a beautiful plant. It is such a stunning plant. And one thing that's cool about these guys is they're so easy to propagate. You don't necessarily have to propagate in water. You guys can easily like cut a few of these vines and stick it in soil, and it'll just thrive and take off. And my goal with this one is to make it look nice and full, and like not have it hanging down, similar to like my string of hearts here. But really, really cool looking. You guys can find these at the store still, relatively cheap. I think they're a little bit underrated, to be quite honest, because I mean, like, seriously, look at that iridescent, that shine that you guys see there, and then the deep purple back. I love this plant. I really do. So again, these are just some plants you can get for under $10. You don't have to go and chase a lot of those expensive rare plants that you often see on Instagram. Now, with just a bit of time and a bit of patience, and I think that's one thing you guys also need to appreciate is the journey and the process of caring for a plant, because over time these guys are going to look really, really amazing, really grand, especially if you can get them to thrive, you know, and grow really, really big. And I think they're great. These are just some plants that I find relatively cheap and still look amazing and beautiful. I'm sure there are other houseplants out there that can still, you know, rival against those rare and exotic looking plants. What are those plants? Comment below and let me know. Other than that, hopefully you guys enjoyed this video. We'll see you guys soon. Peace.